It's creating a false illusion that people are trying to vote illegally. And I would love to see that process changed.
Just in the last few hours, the Ohio Secretary of State's office says it is now moving forward to investigate what they're calling voter fraud. Their team claims to have discovered evidence of non-citizen voter registration in the state of Ohio.
Secretary of State Frank LaRose says 597 individuals were identified, and 138 of them appeared to have also cast a ballot in the past. 10 TV's Tara Jabor is live in the Digital Broadcast Center. And Tara, you got a tip from a viewer about the letter he received from the Secretary of State's office threatening jail time?
Yolanda, that's right. I spoke to an Otterbein professor today who told me that he was offended by the language in that letter from the Secretary of State's office. Now, I also spoke to Secretary of State Frank LaRose, who told me that really wasn't his intention.
The principle, why was I flagged twice?
Nicholas Ross has lived in the United States for 28 years. He came to the U.S. from England on a student scholar visa. He met his wife in the U.S. and they got married in 2000. Since then, Ross has held a green card, and this year he decided it was time to get his United States citizenship.
I have two sons. I thought, well, I'm staying in the United States. It's long been on my mind to become a U.S. citizen. Voting matters to me. I decided it was time.
At Ross's naturalization ceremony in May, he also registered to vote.
I want to stay in this country. I'm retiring in this country. My wife and kids are U.S. citizens, and I felt voting is important and being more engaged in that way.
In July, he got a letter from Secretary of State Frank LaRose's office. I
received this letter 3 weeks after becoming a U.S. citizen, saying that I'd been flagged for suspicious. My voter registration was viewed as suspicious, that it is a crime, and it said that I may be referred for prosecution.
Ross sent the letter back in order to verify his citizenship.
No U.S. citizen wants to receive a letter saying, we think you've broken the law and you may be facing prosecution, when you know you have done everything completely correctly.
Ross is able to vote. He did not immediately update his license at the BMV, showing his citizenship status. And that is why the Secretary of State's office flagged his voter registration. Today, I brought Ross's concerns to the Secretary of State, Frank LaRose. He was explaining to me basically that he felt offended, right? Because he was a U.S. citizen and he felt that the language in that letter was threatening because it suggested jail time. What is your response to someone like that who is a U.S. citizen and felt offended by that first letter?
First of all, we don't want to offend anyone, but I'm going to carry out my duty, and whether somebody has sort of delicate sensitivities about that or not, I've got to do my job as the Ohio Secretary of State.
Ultimately, Ross will get to vote in the November election, something he says he's been looking forward to.
I'm really excited to vote, actually. I am, and my family will tell you I have strong opinions about politics, so I do care, and I want to have a voice. Now, we reached out to the Attorney General's office to get a comment on this, and a spokesperson told us, in part, quote, that the Bureau of Criminal Investigations will investigate the evidence referred today by the Secretary of State. At the conclusion of an investigation, BCI provides its findings to the county prosecutors, who decide whether or not to file charges, end quote. Now, the deadline to register to vote in Ohio is on October 7th. Reporting live in the newsroom, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.